Yo, what's going on? Cliff Jumper 1984, Red Rock's your favorite fucking Autobot with that Natty Ice. Unloading all of my video game stuff at my new house. This might be the last time that I do a video with all this, in the background. With my kitchen and shit like that. Yeah, it looks really bad. So hopefully I'll be doing stuff in my studio and everything like that, where I have my drum set set up and everything like that. But again, going through all the video game stuff as I'm unpacking, as I start moving in and everything. I've been moving in almost for 3 weeks right now. It sucks owning an apartment. Owning a place in historical downtown Lancaster with my dad and my uncle, and of course my new house. It's Jesus Christ. But I'm going through everything and I find my Game Boy. Yeah, I got a Game Boy Color, and the speaker actually doesn't work anymore, and I have very few games. I actually have two. I have Pokemon Red, which isn't even mine. Hell, I don't even think the Game Boy's mine. And I've got Mega Man 1 for Game Boy. And I never beat that yet, actually. I did get halfway through it. Well, halfway through I guess 3 Robot Masters, which I'd won in the Wily stage to go, but whatever. And it made me think, I've done my top 10 for Nintendo first, which one had bad audio in one of the parts. Super Nintendo, I did Sega Genesis, and I did other top 10s around that, like my top 10 NES music and everything, but I had to do a top 10 Game Boy list. I did play at least 100 to 150 Game Boy carts. The Game Boy library is huge. So I don't think everybody is going to have, at least 7 of the top 10 Game Boy games, maybe 6. Of course, you're going to have some Marios and stuff like that. Maybe Tetris is on some list, but without further ado, and raise your natty ice to this, this is my top 10 favorite Game Boy games. Fortified Zone. Now here's the one out of left field you probably never played. And I don't know why I like this so much. It's an overhead view, and it's kind of got like Blaster Master-esque stuff when you're out of the vehicle and go into the overhead views. But you can switch between a guy who can pick up special guns and then the girl who can jump. And at the end, you get to a boss that's kind of like Master Blaster. It's got a little bit of puzzles to it. It's definitely fun. And it was probably one of the first 20 Game Boy games that I've ever beaten. Of course you're going to have Super Mario Brothers Land. The first stage has memorable music, and it's been with me for a while. And it's kind of funny because, it's not the hardest game in the world. It's very short with 4 worlds and 4 stages to each world, I think it is. It's just kind of sad that they never revisited a lot of this, I think, in what, Nintendo is going now with going back to Super Mario Land. Like, I don't know, you're just never going back to the area. But in how many other Mario games do you ever see Mario riding a submarine or flying a plane? That was definitely different, but it's a game that I can easily pick up in Game Boy and beat very easily. The only thing that really kept this in the fact that it was going on my top 10, it was because it's Ninja Turtles. And well, who didn't love Ninja Turtles in the early 90s? It was a very easy game to beat, and that's the only reason why I kept coming back to it, because at the time you felt relieved as being able to beat a game. I was really happy to see Wii come out with the Wario Land Shake It. I never got to play that. But it's actually been a while since I've gone back and played this game. I thought it was excellent. I've beaten it, and it was definitely a fun time. It was a great, great Game Boy title. I love the original Metroid. And when I seen there was a sequel, I was like, God damn, I've gotta play it. It did everything the original one did, but did better for me only because there was more power-ups and stuff. And I love, improving on a game that's already awesome. Of course, the series would be even more awesome down the line. This is what game I really wanted to, you want to play next after the first one. And for it to be portable and everything, oh jeez. I remember borrowing it, it was probably in like 93 or 94 to play down on the beach, and I got lucky to beat it early enough. When I borrowed it, I beat it down there, and I thought it was awesome. I spent like a lot of my vacation of that year playing it indoors. We should be outside running around and stuff like that at my age. You can't talk about top 10 great Game Boy games, best Game Boy games, or whatever, a top 10 Game Boy list without Pokemon. And it's honest. I was, 15, 16 when the series came out, and it definitely appeals to older people because of like the RPG aspect to it. Sure, it's a little cutesy on its edges, but when it gets down to it, it's a real fun strategy RPG game. And I still like picking it up. I actually, 2 years ago, I took it when I went to Outer Banks and played it and beat it down there. And I was still trying to collect, every Pokemon in Red, but I didn't. So, yeah, and I haven't really played too many of the other series. I've beaten, whatever the second one is where you go to Johto League. I've beaten that, but beyond that, I haven't beaten or really played any. Being that Legend of Zelda, the series itself, is my second favorite video game series of all time. This had to go on here. It was the fourth game I played because I actually played Link to the Past first. And that's fine with me. This is definitely a good game, and I like the fact that it actually ends up being a dream from what you find out in the timeline, and it definitely fits everything better with it that way. And it's nice that it was the first game that actually added Rock's Feather to jump. That was neat. of course, everybody's first introduction to Kirby. It was a pretty easy game, but it was just something that was new and refreshing to me and enjoyable. And I've gone back, of course, and played it quite a few times. I love this game. It's back when he was white, not pink. And he obviously became a staple later on in Nintendo's, franchise. Yeah, I know. I have both Mario's and the Wario Land on here. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I love the Mario series. It's great. But it's not my favorite series. But I think from what I was able to play at the time of really doing this video, I've probably, was only able to play about 150 of the, 700 and some carts. So this is the only reason why I have all the 3 Marios on here without Dr. Mario just barely made the cut. And this game was one of the best games. Not because it was a Mario game, but it just was one of the best games on the Game Boy. Does anybody else on their top 10 Game Boy list actually have this game? When I played this, I was blown away. It's actually my sister got this. And I thought this was an amazing game. And for as much as I call myself a huge Nintendo head, I think this is better than the original NES version. And I actually played this one first before I ever played the original NES version. I probably played this in, 91, 92, and I actually did not play the original Kid Icarus to about 95. There's just a little bit more here that I think the lands differ. Some of the power-ups are the same and everything. I don't think the difficulty is as high. It's just overall a more enjoyable game to play, and it is it definitely deserves a top on my top 10, and I wish it was on everybody else's, or whoever else never played this before, to go out and try it. I can understand, not everybody has the same taste, everybody has a different top 10, but it definitely deserves a spot in mine. And to be honest, I haven't played this in a while. I would love to go back and beat the shit out of this game again. Yeah, I know, quite a few weeks have gone by since I did the beginning of this video. But, yeah, a lot has happened since this. Of course, I'm no longer recording at my old place where I was. I'm in my house now, my brand new house. And, well, it's not brand new, but... And, like a little caption said it before, what was it, last week ago was Game Boy's 25th birthday. And it sucked I wasn't able to upload this during then. So, it was upsetting, but this is my little homage to getting this done for the Game Boy. I've had a lot of memories with it, and there's still, of course, more to come. My wedding's coming up soon. I'm going to be able to go south and take it with me, and I'm probably going to pick up 2 games or 3 games, something, and play them as I go down. So, hey, happy birthday again, Game Boy. Here's another 25 years. And like always, everybody, drink one on me.